Welcome to my channel. Listen to my stories every day. Comment, like and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy listening. As the sunlight filters through the partially drawn curtains, casting soft golden hues across our bedroom, I find myself on my knees, rifling through the bottom drawer of Ali's dresser. Cleaning has always been a mindless chore, a momentary distraction from the growing distance between us. Lately, Ali's late nights at work have become routine, her once warm embrace now replaced by a cold, indifferent touch. As I push aside her neatly folded clothes, my fingers brush against something hard and smooth. Curiosity piqued, I pull out a small, leather-bound diary. My heart races. Ali's diary. I know it's wrong to invade her privacy, but the gnawing suspicion that has been eating at me demands answers. With a deep breath, I flip open the diary. The first few pages are filled with mundane entries, grocery lists, notes about work, random musings. But as I delve deeper, the entries become more personal, more revealing. My hands tremble as I reach a page dated 2 weeks ago. Tonight, meet Alex at our place in the park near the evening night movie theater. I know cheating is bad, but I can no longer attach my life without Alex. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I feel my chest tighten, my breath coming in short, ragged gasps. Ali, my wife, the woman I've loved and trusted for years, is having an affair. The betrayal is a knife twisting in my heart. I sit back on my heels, the diary slipping from my hands. The room spins around me as I struggle to process the revelation. The memories of our life together flash before my eyes, our wedding day, the vacations, the late-night conversations. All of it now tainted by her infidelity. Rage surges through me, hot and fierce. A plan begins to form in my mind, a plan for revenge. If Ali wants to meet Alex in the park tonight, then I will be there too, but I won't reveal myself right away. No, I will watch, and then I will confront them when they least expect it. I want to see the look on their faces when their secret is exposed. I glance at the clock. It's already late afternoon. I need to prepare. I place the diary back in the drawer, making sure it looks undisturbed. My mind races as I think about what I need to do next. First, I call my best friend, Mark. He picks up after the third ring, his voice cheerful. "Hey man, what's up?" "Mark, I need your help," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "Can you meet me at the evening night movie theater around 8 p.m.? It's important." There's a pause on the other end. "Sure, is everything okay?" "I'll explain when I see you," I reply, not wanting to go into details over the phone. "All right, I'll be there," Mark says, concern evident in his voice. Next, I change into dark, inconspicuous clothes. If I'm going to spy on Ali and her lover, I need to blend in. I grab a baseball cap and sunglasses, stuffing them into my pocket. As I head out the door, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror. My face is pale, my eyes hollow. I barely recognize the man staring back at me. With a determined shake of my head, I push the thought away and focus on the task at hand. The sun is beginning to set as I arrive at the park. I find a secluded spot near the entrance, where I have a clear view of the meeting place. The movie theater looms in the distance, its neon lights flickering to life as the evening darkens. I sit on a bench, my eyes scanning the park for any sign of Ali or Alex. Time seems to crawl by. Every rustle of leaves, every distant conversation sets my nerves on edge. Finally, I see her. Ali walks into the park, her head held high, her steps purposeful. My heart clenches at the sight of her. She's wearing the dress I bought her for our anniversary, the one she claimed to love so much. She stops near a bench, looking around. Moments later, a man approaches her, tall, with dark hair and an easy smile. Alex. I watch as they embrace, my blood boiling. Their voices are too low for me to hear, but the intimacy of their interaction is unmistakable. I wait, biding my time until Mark arrives. He spots me and makes his way over, his expression a mix of confusion and concern. "What's going on?" he asks. I point towards Ali and Alex. "That's what's going on. Ali is cheating on me with that guy." Mark's eyes widen. "Jesus, man, what are you going to do?" I clench my fists. the plan solidifying in my mind. For starters, I'm going to confront them. I want them to know they haven't gotten away with this. Mark nods, his face set with determination. I'm with you. Let's do this. We make our way towards Ollie and Alex, the shadows of the park providing cover. As we get closer, their conversation becomes audible. I can't keep doing this, Alex is saying. We need to tell him. No, not yet, Ollie replies, her voice desperate. I need more time. My heart hammers in my chest as we step out of the shadows. Time's up, I say, my voice cold and hard. Ollie and Alex jump, turning to face us. The shock on their faces is almost satisfying. Almost. John, what are you doing here? Ollie stammers, her face pale. I could ask you the same thing, I reply, taking a step closer. How long has this been going on, Ollie? How long have you been lying to me? She opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out. Alex steps forward, his hands raised in a placating gesture. Look, this isn't what it looks like. Save it, I snap. I read the diary. I know everything. Ollie's eyes widen in horror. You read my diary. Yes, I say, my voice breaking. I read your diary, and now I know the truth. Tears fill her eyes, but I have no sympathy left for her. The betrayal is too deep, the wound too fresh. Let's go, Mark, I say, turning away from them. I've seen enough. As we walk away, I feel a strange mix of relief and sorrow. The confrontation is over, but the pain remains. This is just the beginning. The real battle lies ahead. The walk home feels like a blur. Mark and I stride through the dimly lit streets in silence, the gravity of what just transpired hanging heavily between us. My mind races with a whirlwind of emotions: anger, betrayal, sadness. But amidst the chaos, a steely resolve begins to form. This isn't over. Once inside my apartment, I slump onto the couch, my body exhausted but my mind still buzzing. Mark sits beside me, his expression a mixture of sympathy and concern. He's been my best friend for years, and now, more than ever, I need his support. John, Mark begins cautiously. What are you going to do now? I sigh, running a hand through my hair. I don't know, but I can't just let this go. Ollie needs to face the consequences of her actions. Mark nods slowly. Well, you know I've got your back, whatever you decide. As the words leave his mouth, my phone buzzes on the coffee table. I pick it up to see a text from Ollie. My heart pounds as I read her message. John, we need to talk. Please, meet me at home. I can explain everything. I scoff, tossing the phone aside. Now she wants to explain? Unbelievable. Mark leans forward, his brow furrowed. Maybe you should hear her out. It might give you some closure. Reluctantly, I nod. Yeah, maybe you're right, but I'm not going alone. I'm coming with you, Mark says firmly. A short while later, we arrive at the house Ollie and I once shared. The place feels foreign now, like a museum of our past life. I steel myself as I push open the door, Mark close behind me. Ollie stands in the living room, her eyes red and puffy from crying. She looks up as we enter, her face a mask of guilt and desperation. John, thank you for coming. Save it, Ollie, I interrupt, my voice cold. Just tell me why. Why did you do it? Tears stream down her face as she takes a shaky breath. John, I never wanted to hurt you. But Alex. He was there for me when you were always busy with work. I felt so alone, and he made me feel alive again. I feel a pang of guilt at her words, but the anger quickly overshadows it. So you decided to betray me instead of talking to me. You threw away our marriage for what? A fling. It's not just a fling, Ollie insists. I love him, John, but I still care about you. I didn't want it to end like this. I shake my head, disbelief washing over me. You should have thought about that before you started sneaking around behind my back. Mark steps forward, his voice calm but firm. Look, Ollie, Whether you love Alex or not, what you did was wrong. And now, you need to give John some space to process all of this. Ali nods, her shoulders sagging in defeat. I understand. I'll pack some things and stay with a friend for a while. As she heads upstairs, I collapse onto the couch, my head in my hands. Mark sits beside me, a comforting presence in the chaos. You're handling this better than I expected, he says quietly. I let out a bitter laugh. I don't feel like I'm handling it at all. Just then, there's a knock at the door. Mark and I exchange puzzled glances before I get up to answer it. Standing on the doorstep is Rachel, Ali's best friend. Her eyes are wide with concern. John, I heard what happened. Is Ali okay? She asks, her voice trembling. She's upstairs packing, I reply. What are you doing here, Rachel? I came as soon as I heard, she explains, stepping inside. Ali called me in tears. She didn't know what to do. Well, she should have thought about that before she cheated, I snap, the anger flaring up again. Rachel winces but nods. I know, and I'm not excusing what she did, but Ali is my friend and I want to help her through this, just like Mark is here for you. I sigh, my anger ebbing slightly. I appreciate that, Rachel. But right now I need to figure out where to go from here. Mark, Rachel, and I sit in silence for a moment, the weight of the situation pressing down on us. Finally, Mark breaks the silence. John, maybe it's time to talk to a lawyer. You need to protect yourself. Rachel nods in agreement. He's right. This is going to get messy, and you need to be prepared. I nod, knowing they're both right. I'll make some calls tomorrow, but tonight I just need to get through this. Ali comes down the stairs, a suitcase in hand. She pauses at the bottom, her eyes meeting mine. I'm so sorry, John, she whispers. I nod curtly, unable to find the words. As she leaves with Rachel, the silence in the house feels deafening. Mark and I sit for a while longer, the reality of the situation sinking in. Finally, he speaks. You know, you don't have to go through this alone. I've got a friend, Eric, who's a private investigator. If you want, he could help you figure out more about Alex. Maybe there's more to this than you realize. I frown, considering his offer. You think there's more to this? Mark shrugs. You never know. It couldn't hurt to look into it. I nod slowly. All right, call Eric. Let's find out who this Alex really is. As Mark makes the call, a new determination fills me. Ali's betrayal has shattered my world, but I won't let it destroy me. I'll uncover the truth, no matter what it takes. Later that night, Mark and I meet Eric at a small diner. He's a rugged man in his late 30s, with sharp eyes that miss nothing. After brief introductions, we dive into the details. So, you want to know more about this Alex guy, Eric says, leaning back in his chair. Any idea where I should start? I hand him a photo of Ali and Alex that I snapped earlier at the park. This is him. All I know is that he works with Ali. Eric studies the photo, nodding. I'll see what I can dig up. Give me a couple of days. As Eric leaves, I feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe uncovering the truth about Alex will help me understand why Ali did what she did. And maybe, just maybe, it will give me the closure I need to move on. The next few days pass in a blur of phone calls and legal consultations. I start the process of separating our lives, each step a painful reminder of what I've lost. But amidst the chaos, Eric's investigation progresses. Finally, 3 days later, Eric calls with news. I've got something. Can you meet me at the diner? Mark and I arrive at the diner, anticipation and dread churning in my stomach. Eric is already there, a file folder on the table in front of him. He gestures for us to sit. What did you find? I ask, my voice tense. Eric opens the folder, revealing a series of photos and documents. Alex isn't who he says he is. He's got a record: fraud, embezzlement, even a stint in prison. My blood runs cold as I stare at the evidence. Does Ali know? Eric shakes his head. From what I can tell, she's in the dark. He's been using her, John. I'm sure of it. Anger surges through me once again, but this time it's mixed with a fierce protectiveness. Ali may have betrayed me, but she doesn't deserve to be a pawn in Alex's schemes. Thank you, Eric, I say, my voice steely. Now we know the truth. It's time to confront Alex and end this once and for all. As Mark and I leave the diner, a new plan forms in my mind. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about protecting Ali and exposing Alex for the fraud he is. The confrontation ahead won't be easy, but I'm ready for it. The battle for the truth has only just begun. The next morning, I wake up with a sense of purpose. The weight of Ali's betrayal still presses heavily on my heart, but now there's a plan, a way to bring Alex to justice and perhaps, in some way, protect Ali from further harm. Mark arrives early, a look of determination on his face. Ready for this, he asks, handing me a cup of coffee. I nod, taking a deep sip. More ready than I'll ever be. We review the evidence Eric has gathered, going over the details one more time. The photos, the documents, the proof of Alex's criminal past, it's all there, neatly laid out. It's undeniable. The man who has been leading Ali astray is a fraud, a criminal, and we're going to expose him. Eric joins us a little later, his expression grim. All right, here's the plan, he says, spreading a map of the park and the surrounding area on the table. We need to catch Alex off guard, confront him in a place where he can't easily escape. We should do it in the park, where Ali meets him, I suggest. It's public, and he won't be expecting it. Eric nods. Good idea. I'll be there with a couple of my guys to make sure he doesn't slip away. Mark, you'll stay with John. We need to keep this controlled, no matter what happens. We spend the next few hours preparing, running through various scenarios. The tension is palpable, but we all know what's at stake. As evening approaches, we head to the park. The sun is setting, casting long shadows across the grass. The evening night movie theater's neon lights flicker to life in the distance, casting an eerie glow over the area. We take our positions, hidden but with a clear view of the meeting spot. I spot Ali first, walking briskly toward the bench where she and Alex usually meet. She looks anxious, her eyes darting around as if she senses something is off. I swallow the lump in my throat, reminding myself that this is for her own good. Moments later, Alex appears. He strides confidently, a smug smile on his face. My hands clench into fists at the sight of him, but I force myself to stay calm. Not yet. Wait for the right moment. As Ali and Alex begin to talk, I see Eric signal his men. It's time. I step out of the shadows, Mark at my side. Ali's eyes widen in shock as she sees us approaching. John, what are you doing here? She asks, her voice trembling. I should be asking you the same thing, I reply, my gaze fixed on Alex. But I think we both know the answer. Alex's smile falters, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. What's going on, Ali? She's not the one you need to worry about, I say coldly. We know who you are, Alex. Or should I say Brian? Ali looks confused. Brian? What are you talking about? Eric steps forward, holding up the documents. Brian Johnson, convicted of fraud and embezzlement. You've been using a fake name, deceiving Ali this whole time. Ali's face goes pale as she turns to Alex. Brian, her eyes filled with betrayal. Is this true? Brian's expression hardens. I don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to turn you against me. Eric shakes his head. We have all the evidence we need. You're going back to prison, Brian. Brian's eyes dart around, realizing he's cornered. You think you can just walk in here and arrest me, he sneers. I've gotten out of worse situations. As he makes a move to run, Eric's men step out of the shadows, blocking his path. Brian's bravado falters and he lunges at Ali, grabbing her arm. Let go of me, Ali cries, trying to pull away. Not until we're out of here, Brian hisses, dragging her toward the trees. I rush forward, anger and adrenaline surging through me. Let her go, Brian. Brian spins around, shoving Ali aside and raising his fists. You want to fight, John? Let's see what you've got. Mark steps in beside me. You don't want to do this, Brian. Just give up. Brian laughs bitterly. I'm not going back to prison. With a roar, he charges at us. Mark and I brace ourselves, ready for the impact. The fight is brutal, a flurry of fists and kicks. Brian fights with the desperation of a man who knows he has nothing left to lose. I take a punch to the gut, the air rushing out of my lungs, but I manage to stay on my feet. Mark lands a solid hit to Brian's jaw, sending him stumbling back. Eric's men move in, quickly subduing Brian and pinning him to the ground. Breathing heavily, I turn to Ali. She's on her knees, tears streaming down her face. I kneel beside her, my anger giving way to concern. Ali, are you okay? I ask, my voice soft. She nods shakily, looking up at me with red-rimmed eyes. John, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I wrap my arms around her, holding her close. It's over now. He can't hurt you anymore. Eric and his men haul Brian to his feet, slapping handcuffs on him. We'll take it from here, Eric says, giving me a reassuring nod. You did good, John. As they lead Brian away, I feel a strange mix of relief and sadness. The man who tore apart my marriage is finally facing justice, but the wounds he inflicted are still raw. Mark helps Ali to her feet, his expression gentle. You should come with us, Ali. You need some time to recover. Ali nods, leaning on me for support as we make our way out of the park. The night is quiet, the tension slowly easing from my shoulders. Back at the apartment, we sit in the living room, the events of the evening weighing heavily on us. Ali looks at me, her eyes filled with regret. John, I know I've hurt you, and I don't expect you to forgive me, but thank you for saving me tonight. I nod, struggling to find the right words. Ali, what you did was wrong. But I couldn't just stand by and let him use you. We need to figure out where we go from here. Mark stands up, giving us a small smile. I'll leave you two to talk. If you need anything, just call me. As he leaves, Ali and I sit in silence for a moment, the enormity of the situation sinking in. I never wanted to hurt you, John, Ali whispers. I was lost, and Brian took advantage of that. I see that now. I take a deep breath, my heart aching. We have a lot to work through, Ali, but for now, let's just take it one step at a time. She nods, tears welling up again. One step at a time. As the night stretches on, we talk about the future, about the possibility of rebuilding trust. It's a long, difficult conversation, but it's a start. The road ahead won't be easy, but at least now we're facing it together. The confrontation with Brian has brought a painful truth to light, but it's also given us a chance to start anew. And as we navigate this uncertain path, one thing is clear: we're stronger together, and no matter what comes next, we'll face it head on. The days that follow are a whirlwind of emotion and reflection. Ali and I are taking it one day at a time, trying to rebuild what was shattered. It's not easy, and the trust that once bound us feels tenuous at best. Mark continues to be a steadfast friend, his presence a constant reminder that I'm not alone in this fight. One evening, as Ali and I sit in the living room, a thought strikes me. Ali, there's something that's been bothering me. When we confronted Brian, he said something strange. He mentioned getting out of worse situations. What did he mean by that? Ali looks thoughtful, her brow furrowing. I'm not sure, John. He never talked much about his past. He always seemed so secretive. A sudden knock at the door interrupts our conversation. I get up to answer it, finding Eric standing there, looking more serious than usual. Eric, what's going on? I ask, stepping aside to let him in. I've been digging more into Brian's background, Eric says, his tone grave. I found something you need to see. He hands me a file, and as I flip it open, my blood runs cold. Inside are photos and documents, but it's a specific photo that catches my eye. It's an old picture of Brian looking much younger and standing next to a woman who looks eerily familiar. This is Brian's ex-wife, Eric explains. She disappeared years ago, and the case was never solved. Ali gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. Oh my God, that's my sister, Emily. My mind races as I try to connect the dots. Your sister? But she disappeared when you were just a kid. You told me your family never found out what happened to her. Ollie nods, tears welling up in her eyes. We always suspected something terrible, but we never had proof. How is Brian connected to this? Eric's expression hardens. Brian, or rather Brian Johnson, was suspected in Emily's disappearance, but there was never enough evidence to convict him. He changed his name and disappeared. It looks like he resurfaced and somehow found his way to you, Ollie. I feel a chill run down my spine. You think he knew Ollie was Emily's sister and targeted her deliberately? Eric nods. It's a strong possibility. He has a history of manipulating and using people for his gain. This might have been his way of covering his tracks or continuing whatever twisted game he started with Emily. Ollie's face crumples, and she collapses into a chair, sobbing. I rush to her side, holding her close. Ollie, we'll get to the bottom of this. We'll find out the truth about Emily. Eric nods. I've already reopened the case with the new evidence. The police are investigating, but we need to be careful. Brian's connections might go deeper than we know. The revelation is staggering, but it also brings a new sense of purpose. Ollie and I are more determined than ever to uncover the truth. The days that follow are filled with meetings with detectives, poring over old case files and retracing Brian's steps. One evening, as I'm sorting through the latest batch of documents, Ollie comes to me, her eyes red from crying but resolute. John, I've been thinking. I need to confront Brian. I need to hear it from him. I'm taken aback. Ollie, are you sure? He's dangerous. She nods. I know, but I need closure. I need to understand why he did this. Reluctantly, I agree. With Eric's help, we arrange a meeting at the jail where Brian is being held. The atmosphere is tense as we enter the cold, sterile visitation room. Brian is brought in, his expression a mix of defiance and curiosity. Ollie sits across from him, her hands trembling but her voice steady. Brian, or whatever your real name is, I need to know the truth. What happened to my sister, Emily? Brian's eyes narrow, and for a moment he remains silent. Then, a twisted smile spreads across his face. Ah, Emily. She was a lot like you, Ollie. So full of life, so trusting. Ollie's voice breaks. What did you do to her? Brian leans back, his eyes gleaming with a cruel satisfaction. Emily found out about my extracurricular activities. She threatened to go to the police. I couldn't let that happen. My blood runs cold as he continues. So I made sure she couldn't. Permanently. Ollie's sobs fill the room, and I feel a surge of rage. You monster. You killed her. Brian's smile fades, replaced by a look of cold indifference. I did what I had to do, just like I was going to do with Ollie, until you intervened. Eric, standing by the door, steps forward. This confession will be used against you, Brian. You'll pay for what you did to Emily and for everything else. As we leave the room, Ollie collapses into my arms, her body shaking with grief. She's really gone, John. He killed her. I hold her tightly, my own tears mingling with hers. I'm so sorry, Ollie. But we'll make sure he never hurts anyone again. In the weeks that follow, the police uncover more evidence linking Brian to Emily's disappearance and other crimes. His trial is swift, and the verdict is guilty on all counts. He is sentenced to life in prison without parole. The day of the sentencing, Ollie and I visit Emily's grave. It's a small, peaceful spot, marked by a simple headstone. Ollie kneels, placing a bouquet of flowers on the grave. Emily, I'm so sorry, she whispers, her voice breaking. I promise we'll keep your memory alive. You won't be forgotten. As we stand together, a sense of peace washes over us. The road ahead is still uncertain, and the wounds will take time to heal, but we've taken the first step toward closure. Mark joins us later, bringing with him a small photo album. I thought you might want this, he says, handing it to Ollie. She opens it, tears filling her eyes as she flips through the pages. The album is filled with photos of Emily, capturing moments of her life that Ollie had almost forgotten. "Thank you, Mark," she says, her voice choked with emotion. "This means more than you know." As we leave the cemetery, I feel a renewed sense of hope. The darkness that had overshadowed our lives is beginning to lift. Ollie and I walk hand in hand, ready to face whatever comes next together. And as we move forward, one thing is certain: we've faced our worst fears and come out stronger. The truth has set us free, and now we can begin to heal.